The circus is officially in town, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what? 50 Cent, the king of clapbacks, the master of pettiness. And the man who can transform a simple side eye into a major headline is the ringmaster. However, it wasn't just Instagram teasing this time. Oh no. Was live in person and captured on camera from 10 separate unsteady iPhone perspectives. Imagine the situation. The once loyal protege of Captain Remy Ma is easily blocked, dropping her instead of spinning bars or dropping heat while standing in the middle of the stage. Yes, exactly. In front of an appalled audience, he humiliates Remy Ma in the most heinous manner imaginable. And 50 Cent rushed in like a grenade of legs before the audience had a chance to react, or for the hashtags to begin trending. Why would Easy perform such a stunt? In front of thousands of people, why would lose control? Above all, what does this story teach us about loyalty, treachery, and the eroding basis of the so-called power couples in hip-hop? It's not all drama, so pay attention. We have the receipts, and this is scorched earth chaos. Scandals don't happen overnight. When the time is right, they burst after brewing and simmering. And that is precisely what happened when Easy, the captain of the block, and played kamikaze with career. Not in private. Not in a silent direct message. Not in some nebulous subconscious bar either. No. Where shame flourishes, he did it. Under the stage lights in front of a live audience, with cameras capturing every chuckle, every gasp, and every flinch. Now, let's go back in time because you need to examine the convoluted past of this explosion. Comprehend why it rocked the hip-hop industry as a whole. Easy wasn't just any new business. Remy had selected him as her experiment. When the battle, rap community questioned whether the rookie deserved a slot. She co-signed him, spoke up for him, and essentially carried him on her back. Consider it. A great artist who has been through a lot of hardship. Remy Ma taking on a younger artist. Loyalty is that. Or folly, depending on who you ask. Long before this evening, rumors began to circulate. It was difficult to ignore the image that the murmurs presented. Easy and Remy had a friendship that went beyond business. It was implied that it was too intimate. They were said to be inseparable by some. She was jeopardizing her marriage to Papaos for him, according to others. Has she ever verified it? Obviously not. However, denial serves as fire rather than protection in gossip culture. Additionally, each time Remy endorsed Easy, the murmurs got louder each time she brought his name into the public eye. Therefore, it wasn't just treachery when Easy stepped in front of everyone and abandoned her like a Netflix villain without a backstory. Her credibility was destroyed in real time. The audience witnessed more than simply a man turning down a woman. They witnessed a pupil openly insulting his instructor, a protege severing connections with his mentor, and perhaps a lover degrading his relationship. It's a reputational disaster, not simply drama. Then 50 Cent, the wild card, appeared. The problem with 50 is that you can never be sure what part he will play in a controversy. He occasionally acts as the catalyst, pulling threads behind the scenes. From the sidelines, he occasionally serves as the commentator. Additionally, he can be the nuclear weapon at times, as tonight. Witnesses insist that he did more than simply respond. He burst forth. EY's second statement struck home. You could see the change on 50's face. The characteristic sneer has vanished, replaced with the type of rage that causes security personnel to perspire. According to insiders, you could hear the room's tension rise. A viewer commented, it was like watching a bomb detonate in slow motion. It was easy to say. There was a gasp and a boom from the crowd. 50 of them got up and rushed to the stage. Another Remy herself paused, torn between fear and disbelief, knowing she was about to lose control of the story as a whole. At that point, the situation transformed from one of humiliation to one of history. To be clear, This is not the first time that Remy has encountered pandemonium. She made it through jail time, public feuds, and business politics, but wasn't an outside assault. This was treachery from a person she had worked hard to build. Ezzy's public humiliation was more than a simple rejection. There was a message: I am no longer in need of you. That's the type of disrespect that scars in hip-hop. The internet didn't waste time. Clips with the tags "Easy Ends Remy Live" and 50 about to end 2 careers at once began to circulate within minutes. Twitter was overrun with memes. Reaction edits on TikTok became viral. Unshaky backstage leaks on Instagram that show security attempting to keep 50 people back. It made little difference if the film was authentic or just expertly produced. Power comes from vision, and this perception was straightforward. Remy had been humiliated by Easy, and 50 would not tolerate it. This is the crucial question, though. Why would Easy take this action? Why ruin career with such a stunt? There were hypotheses put out by fake insiders. He was sick of being viewed as Rhee's shadow, according to some. Others said he intended to use the harshest means necessary to demonstrate his independence. And the most outrageous rumor was that Easy had uncovered something significant. Something scandalous concerning Remy, and he used this to convey a message without using a lot of words. Leaked texts began to appear on dubious blogs. Screenshots purportedly depict Easy telling a pal, "I can no longer be bound to her. She's not for me. See what I do next?" Were they authentic? It's most likely not. Fake receipts, however, travel more quickly than the reality in the realm of celebrity rumors. Additionally, each fresh leak just fueled the flames. Remy Ma stood in the middle of it all, looking plainly terrified, degraded, and betrayed. Witnesses claimed that her face spoke for itself. She was shocked one moment and enraged the next. But regardless of her feelings, the harm had already been done. A public dumping cannot be undone. The footage cannot be removed. And since the story changed once the second 50 detonated, you can't possibly stop 50 Cent from making it a worldwide spectacle. Easy was no longer the only one making fun of Remy. 50 was entering the pandemonium and pulling it into a completely different realm. He was seen ranting at ease, pointing fingers, and threatening repercussions, according to witnesses. Some even said that, "Go closer." He pushed guards aside. He only yelled, according to others. The commotion of the audience overpowered his remarks. Whatever actually occurred, it became a legend thanks to the internet. Ease was 50 Cent's aim since he had lost control. Things get much more at this point, because it's never just about the moment when 50 Cent enters a scandal. It's about domination, power, and control. Fans began discussing right away. Was he standing up for Remy? Was he upholding the loyalty code of hip-hop? Or was he just using the mayhem to reclaim his role as the supreme chaos conductor in the culture? There is no doubt that the energy present in the room was radioactive. Not everyone was only seeing a brawl. They were witnessing friendships fall apart, careers terminate, and a legend brutally reclaim his supremacy. What actually transpired backstage following 50 Cent's Easy explosion? That is the crucial question. And the responses vary from remarks to downright violent altercations, depending on whose leaked source you trust. 3 security officers had to hold back 50, a source told a gossip blog. He was prepared to strike. Since the days of the jar roll, I have never witnessed him so irate. Remy Ma herself attempted to intervene, shouting at the 2 guys and pleading with them to stop before things went totally out of control, according to another purported witness. Then came the most obscene version, a purported voice memo leak, in which a man who sounded suspiciously like he was 50 years old could be heard yelling, "You don't disrespect her in front of me. I'll put your career in the ground personally." Was it authentic? Most likely not. Did fans, however, think it was true? Yes, without a doubt. The backstage disclosures added fuel to the flames that were already raging on social media. Fans analyzed hazy pictures and shaky recordings, slowing them down frame by frame, like it was the Zapruder movie in Twitter conversations that went on for miles. Look, that's Ezzy's hoodie being grabbed by 50's arm at 014. Pause. Remy is sobbing, as you can see. Papoose is undoubtedly entering. Hold on, what's making him smile? Yes, you heard correctly. All of a sudden, individuals said Papoose was also present. Never mind that there was no unambiguous video to support it. The internet was thrown into a frenzy just by the rumor. If accurate, that means that after seeing her humiliation, Remy's husband saw 50 approach Easy on her behalf. Describe a recipe for a tantrum that goes viral. And the blogs became really active. The headline shouted, "Backstage, there is a brawl after. Easy dumps Remy. Did Papoose play a part? Audio leak. 50 puts Easy's career in jeopardy." Remy Ma was caught up in the heated argument between Easy and 50. The story was escalating more quickly than anybody could manage. Fans, however, were using the pandemonium as a weapon rather than only ingesting it. Everywhere, memes went viral. Remy appeared surprised in one widely shared photo which said, "When your side project side-eyes you on stage." Another was easily photoshopped into a profession that was labeled as crap. Of course, the 50 Cent memes with the phrase 50 when loyalty gets tested, followed by laughter, shouting, and chair flinging. The most memes, however, weren't only jokes. They themselves became a part of the story. But controversy was exacerbated by each inflated image and snarky caption. All of a sudden, the internet was actively changing history rather than merely responding to it. The results of the investigation get rather weird at this point. Remy allegedly spent thousands on Ezzy's career, studio time, advertising, and even personal style, according to one dubious exclusive story. She was now thinking about suing him for breach of trust and emotional harm. Did that have any legal justification? Not sure. However, the dossier contained fictitious invoices and images of purported head Remy's signature obscured. Were they authentic? Obviously not. However, a blurry screenshot is considered gospel in the gossip culture. The rumor that rocked everything then surfaced. Remy wasn't abruptly dumped by Easy. He received compensation. Indeed, one site claimed to have documentation demonstrating that a competitor label gave him a huge check to publicly embarrass Remy, knowing that doing so would damage her reputation and cause havoc in the business. Who was responsible? Nameless. CEOs and former adversaries from Rhee's background were among the hypotheses. The concept itself, however, was explosive. Perhaps Easy wasn't simply careless. He could have been a pawn. Self-described insiders flooded YouTube commenting channels with this hypothesis, saying it was more complicated than it seemed. Was Ann 50 takedowns of Remy Ma? All of a sudden, treachery was not the only aspect of the controversy. It concerned industry warfare, sabotage, and conspiracy. Remy Ma's silence was deafening during all of this. She didn't share anything. She remained silent. She did not return the clap. Her silence spoke more than words for someone who was known for having a sharp tongue and battle-tested bars. The meaning was the subject of unending debate among fans. Some claimed that she was acting with dignity and that she was doing honorably. Others claimed it was evidence of guilt and that the allegations that she and Easy were not acting professionally were accurate. However, you are not protected in this game by quiet. It just allows others to take charge of the story. 50 Cent, meanwhile, leaned into the mayhem. The caption on the picture he shared of a chessboard said, "Play stupid games, win stupid prizes." The fans went crazy. Did he say easy a pawn? Was he teasing a more ambitious plan? Every post was analyzed like a screenplay, and each obscure statement served to deepen the controversy. The mainstream media had taken notice of it at this point. They were all running with it, including the Shade Room and the Entertainment Tonight complex. Late-night hosts even began making jokes about it. You know it's bad when 50 Cent loses control, one person joked. He frequently causes everyone else to lose it. Even though the controversy had officially left hip-hop websites and made its way into popular culture worldwide, the fallout was already becoming apparent. In observance of the culture, promoters began to withdraw events with ease. Fans reportedly started doubting Remy's marriage to Papoose when one sponsorship agreement abruptly ended. Was it on the rocks already? Was the rumor confirmed by this? Scandal. Blogs bombard her with headlines like, "Can her marriage survive this?" And Rhee's loyalty is questioned. Her reputation was further harmed by each unresolved inquiry. As if things couldn't get any uglier, a purported text exchange between 50 and Papoose was leaked in another exclusive leak. According to reports, Papoose told 50 to stay in his lane and thanked him for defending my wife. Was it genuine? Very likely a fake. However, the notion of conflict between 50 and Pap was too good to resist, and fans gobbled it up like candy. The controversy had gotten out of control and no one was able to stop it. There were careers on the line. Alliances that had previously been indestructible were suddenly seeming brittle and poised to crack under the weight of treachery, humiliation, and public outrage. And reputations were on life support. You can tell the drama has moved from amusement to outright devastation when a controversy reaches courtroom murmurs. And that's precisely where the narrative went. Easy, Remy Ma, and 50 Cent's names already had the terms lawsuit, sabotage, and investigation connected to them by the time the stage smoke cleared and the internet memes subsided. First, let's look at Easy, the so-called block captain, who suddenly had the appearance of a ship's captain. Falsely leaked court documents claimed that Rhee's team was getting ready to sue him. The allegations include violation of professional loyalty, emotional suffering, and harm to one's reputation. What on earth does that mean? No one was aware. However, one thing was evident. Blood was what Rhee's people desired. They also planned to take it to court if they were unable to get it on stage. 50, meanwhile, wasn't simply lounging about. His own legal team was allegedly drafting documents to threaten Easy with slander, according to circulating rumors. According to a blog post by a purported insider, 50 doesn't care about the money. All he wants to do is pull him through the muck. According to another, 50 had already contacted well-known figures in the field to guarantee that Ezzy's phone would never ring again. What do you know? Fans accepted it since. At the very least, 50 is renowned for making opponents vanish from the spotlight. Remy, on the other hand, was in the most difficult situation. She was publicly humiliated and treated like a prop, on the one hand. However, her guilt, according to industry rumors, she was afraid of what else Easy may disclose if pressured. There was also a suggestion that Easy had a hidden voice message on another tape that may permanently destroy Remy and Papouse's marriage. Was it authentic? Perhaps not. However, the very possibility of it kept viewers riveted to the mayhem. It was a vicious blowback. Sponsors withdrew, promoters put themselves at a distance. Easy was labeled as unbookable by blogs. According to reports, one promoter stated, "No one in this industry will touch him if 50 is against him, period." In only a few days, the force of one man's rage had transformed him from a rising star to radioactive trash. Remy's aftermath wasn't any less harsh. The headlines cried out, "Remy Ma's judgment is called into doubt." And did she make a grave error by remaining faithful to Easy? The business started to speculate that she might not be as astute as previously believed, and that her professional judgment may have been influenced by her personal emotions. Worst of all, supporters started disparaging her union with Papoose. Every pause and unanswered question served as evidence that something was amiss at home. And 50, As usual, he emerged from this incident grinning, unflappable and more powerful than before. He kept posting mysterious things on Instagram. The caption on a picture of a courtroom gavel reads, "Coming soon." The word checkmate is shown beside. A grainy image of Remy and Easy. It was well received by fans. He wasn't only involved in the controversy. He was using it like only he could, commanding it and directing it. However, the consequences became more profound. Some sites claimed that the incident was now being watched by the government. Why? Contaminated by tales of sabotage payouts. Do you recall the rumor that Remy was dumped by a rival label with ease? According to one story, detectives were investigating possible bribery or fraud. Consider the feds squandering their time on a feud stoked by rumors, even if it was ridiculous. The headline alone was sufficient to turn the issue from a messy situation into a major one. Not to be overlooked are the supporters. Because the crowd created the final script of this turmoil while the industry pulled strings. Viral edits on TikTok portrayed Easy as the ungrateful villain, Remy as the betrayed queen, and 50 as the loyalist's avenger. There were heated arguments on Twitter. Was Easy foolish or courageous? Was Remy lying to herself? Was 50 correct to stand up for her, or did he overreact? Though the viewpoints differed, the fixation remained the same. Even if it meant distorting the facts beyond recognition, everyone wanted a piece of the controversy. Over the course of the week, Easy's career was in ruins. Remy's credibility was being questioned. By the time he was 50, he was larger, louder, and more feared than before. Here's the awful irony, though. Not only do scandals destroy careers, legacy is rewritten by them. Easy would no longer be known for his bars, fights, or hustle after this. He would go down in history as the guy who publicly dumped Remy Ma and enraged 50 Cent. Remy would not be known for her comeback tale, her hits, or her tenacity. She would be known as the mentor who ultimately paid the price for committing to the incorrect project. And 50, he would once more be recalled as the one who flourishes in anarchy. The tyrant who consistently triumphs despite the untidy battlefield. And that's it was more than simply a controversy. There was a change. The hip-hop community once again discovered that loyalty is brittle, treachery is irreversible. And when 50 Cent loses control, everyone else loses even more. Careers were terminated, reputations were destroyed, and trust was destroyed. The unsolved problems therefore blazed brighter than the solutions as this drama came to an end. Was Easy hired to undermine Remy? Or did he truly act alone? Was it loyalty that made 50 stand up for her? Or did he simply take advantage of yet another chance to control the story? Will Remy ever get over this humiliation too? Or is the night her pupil lit her on fire and 50 poured the gasoline now inextricably linked to her legacy? There's little doubt that while the controversy may no longer make the news, the wounds will always be present in hip-hop culture. Here we are, a stage that has been transformed into a battlefield. A protege who publicly dumped his mentor because he believed he was smart, a legend who immediately brought shame upon himself, and a giant who lost his temper, yet somehow emerged stronger than before. This goes beyond mere rumors. This is the cost of loyalty, the anatomy of treachery, and the brutal truth of what transpires when hip-hop egos clash in public. Easy, Remy Ma, or even 50 Cent aren't the main issue, though. The culture itself is the true subject of inquiry. How many more times will clout be exchanged for loyalty? The hand that feeds them will be bitten by how many more protégés? And how many more explosions are necessary before people realize that in hip-hop, treachery costs you not just a relationship, but also your whole legacy? It's your time now. Was it simple to get away from Remy, or did he simply burn the one bridge? That was important. Was 50 merely collecting another viral headline for his collection, or was he protecting the code? And is Remy's credibility irreparably damaged, or can she potentially recover from this? I assure you that this argument will not end, so please share your ideas below. The receipts are available. The truth is hidden someplace under the commotion while the views are loud. And you know what to do if you want more unvarnished analyses of the scandals that are tearing the culture apart. Press like, subscribe, and enable notifications. We soak you in the entire pot here at Gossip Spill Vibe, not simply sipping the tea. The next controversy is in the works. Are you prepared? When it spills, it's the question.